Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. What's up guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert, do your own research. Okay, so today I'll be looking at Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. Let's just get to it. This is BTC USD on the weekly on the BitMEX chart. What are we seeing right here? We see this current demand zone around 17K, all the way up to about 20K-ish, and this area has been tested several times. It's important to note that the 20K level is going to be a level that price interacts with quite a bit, just because these old all-time highs and all-time low levels are always good reference points for both support and resistance. And what we're seeing right now is, price obviously had this big move down from 30K all the way down to 17K. And now we're just chopping around. So this current price action isn't really too clear to me on the weekly. It's important to note that there are some significant weekly levels below this current area. So for instance, if you look on the weekly, like this kind of 16K area, former weekly close back in January, and the this wick here at 14K is another interesting level, and of course this interesting 12K level. These are some all levels that I'm currently looking at if price if like things get really bad in equities and overall macro, that I think that these levels are certainly all up. Like they're very good potential levels for buying. Personally, I've already scaled in. I've already started scaling in from like 19K or so, and I'll just continue all the way down to 12K. Just a little bit of my portfolio now bought, just because I think that things could potentially get worse. Like I don't necessarily think this is the bottom quite yet, and if it is, we're going to have a lot of time for the bottom to form. You can look at some of my other videos to see that bottoms take a long time to form in general. Historically speaking, it can take several months. And what we saw back in November all the way to April of 2018 and 2019, price chopped around for several months after the floor fell through. V-shaped reversal in March of 2020. This was a very, very highly unusual event for a lot of reasons that I don't expect to be replicated personally. There are some other prominent chartists and traders that think that potentially we could V-shape reverse, but I don't personally think that we are going to. I think it's going to take a lot of time to chop around and accumulate, and that's kind of like what we saw back in 2018 and then also June of 2021. So where we're at right now, if you start to look at the current price action, I'll just remove this. It's important to note that every single consolidation bit has been just like a temporary pause before price further move down. So if you look back initially from this move down, what do we see? Consolidation here before a big price nuke. And we saw this too before. This was at the peak of the market though. Consolidation. Price nuke. Consolidation. Price nuke. This has been very, very common all throughout this last several months, where price takes a temporary pause, consolidates, and then it makes a big move down. And we're seeing sell volume as well accompany it. Obviously, sell volume is going to be probably not so useful these days because there's so many different types of exchanges out there, but I think that it's still something to look at. But yeah, as of right now, this has been the overall price action the last several months and all this year. It's just consolidation, drop, consolidation, drop. And it's to be determined if this is going to change at all. Like this right here, like I'm not so sure if this is like you should just assume that this is going to continue, in my opinion, with the current trend of consolidation drop. So like the next levels up would be some of those levels that I marked before, where you kind of are looking at the 16K, the 14K, and the 12K areas. Those are all areas that you should be looking for, in my opinion. Currently, we are seeing still like this current demand level, this demand area. This area is still okay for now, but like it's getting tested quite a bit, and you're seeing a lot of these bids get eaten up. So, as I said, I don't really know if this is quite a reversal yet. Like I think that the better strategy for most people would be not to time the exact bottom, just a DCA in. Because the bottom, you don't really know what it's going to look like or when it's going to come or how far it's going to go. You really just want to ask yourself, is this a tradable event? And if the answer is no, then you probably just want to invest. And many people are just here for the long-term investment as well. Like, it's better just the dollar cost average in, buy Bitcoin, buy ETH, and probably nothing else, in my opinion. Like, you don't know what alts are going to survive after this big run. So let's start scaling down to the lower time frames here. Like, again, this type of price action, I don't really know if this is quite the bottom yet. In my opinion, this still looks like an overall range. So what do I mean by range? I mean that price has already tapped some of these highs, kind of these highs already. They hit them twice, and now there are a few levels here. Number one, this current range low that price is currently testing quite a bit. You can see price has tested this area quite a bit. It formed kind of this low in late June. Came back to that area in late June again, early July, and then hit the top of range, and now it's hitting that level again. It's important to note that these bids are probably getting filled every single time, and I'm expecting like lower and lower bounces. So, we might see another move up, down, and then like if we start to see some more hammering of this level, I'm expecting this current area around 17.5K to get tested. And I actually do think that 17.5K is going to get tested one way or another. I think it's just too likely that there's too much liquidity right down below that even if this is the overall macro bottom from 16K to 20K or so, or 22K, price just chops around this level for the next like several months. Like, maybe we see like stuff like this where it just like chops around for months on end. I still think that these lows are going to get taken out overall. Like, I think it's likely that, we see something like 16.5K at a minimum. There just seems like there's too much liquidity down there. And again, I'm not sure where the actual bottom is going to be. I don't know. So I'm just DCAing in. I'm just buying all throughout kind of the 16K level. I have bids set, and I'm just going to basically wait. But for me as a trader, I'm really just waiting to see what type of tradable events I can take. Right now, we are seeing some support still at this 18K level, this 18.8K level. But I don't know how long it's going to last. And again, it's really just dependent on overall equities. If macro can take a break and ease up, and maybe we see like some strong bounce. But for a little while longer, I don't think that this is going to really be super bullish in any sort of way. Just because the overall trend is just still like really, really bearish. Like, you can't call any of this bullish in my opinion. It just looks quite bad. Like overall, we've just seen like slow grind down. Just like hasn't been good at all. So, as I said, right now, like we're just seeing kind of a ranging price action. We just see kind of these tap of these highs, and now it would make sense for these lows to get tested. We haven't seen these lows get tested all the way since mid-June. So, I do think that we'll eventually see the 17Ks, but I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know if maybe we bounce here. Maybe we make another move at the range high and then go. Maybe we even go even higher. Or maybe we just trade here and just chop around and then we just go straight down. I don't know what it's going to look like. But these are kind of my overall scenarios. Like, eventually I do think there's going to be a strong bear market rally. I think that, you know, it is quite possible that eventually price will kind of chop around, you know, chop around, and then we're going to see like some move up to like 30K eventually or something like that. But just note that it's still a bearish retest. It's still lower high, and it's still something that is just still bearish in the overall grand scheme of things. Like, you know, we're still going to see a lower high, kind of like similar to what we saw back in this April time period here, where price had this lower high from a macro standpoint, and price, you know, price couldn't hold above and then just nuked lower. So yeah, this is kind of like my overall ideas. Eventually there will be a 30K move, but I don't know when that's going to happen, what it's going to look like, or if price trades below first. Like maybe we see something like, you know, below 16K, and then like we like move back up and then come back down. You know, again, I don't know what it's going to look like. For me now, I'm just contextualizing it as a overall range. I think that price is still just ranging, and you know, again, I don't know what the bottom is going to look like. So this is kind of like where I'm looking at right now. You know, we're just kind of like in this overall trading range. Don't really think that it's going to go higher or lower. Like in other words, I don't know which direction it's going to go in the short and midterm, but just kind of taking it slow and taking it easy. I recently took a trade, you know, on this move up, but now it would make sense, you know, and there are some trade opportunities now too. You could obviously start longing around here, because your stop is fairly clear. Like, you know, your stop is just going to be below this 18.8K level. Or maybe you set it below this swing low here. I don't know. What everybody can kind of set whatever strategy you want for where you put the stop. But, you know, this area should hold up, I think, in the short term. But again, I don't know how it's going to go. So yeah, those are my overall thoughts on Bitcoin. Still just playing it slow for now. You could take a trade around this area with a stop underneath some of these lows, but again, somewhat unclear to me where the low would be. And but, you know, again, this is the range low as of right now. So let's just kind of wait and see what happens in this regard. So thanks for so much for the support. I'll be doing a few more videos this week, and then gone next week. So cheers, and thanks so much for the support.